From the studios of Tucson Business RadioX, recorded in the Stewart Title corporate offices on Broadway, you are now listening to The Mark Bishop Show. And now here's your host, Mark Bishop.
Well, unemployment has spiked, but some jobs remain unfilled. So public schools and businesses, they're teaming up to make workplaces more diverse, improve education and career readiness, and create new opportunities that change lives. Joel Mangan, Executive Director, Ptek, IBM Corporate Social Responsibility, is my very special guest today. Welcome, Joel.
Very nice to be with you here today, Mark.
Coronavirus, it has disrupted our economy, and at least early on, it became apparent that those with good jobs were generally more capable of riding it out. Fact that those who were fortunate to have received access to good education and career training have fared better than those that, hadn't. But Joel, your zip code shouldn't be your destiny. More marginalized, poorer and minority communities should have equal access to high-achieving schools and modern job training. And that's the premise behind Ptek. It's an initiative to create equality in schools and the workplace. So, Joel, do us a favor. Tell us all about it, please, mate.
Yeah, gladly. So, Ptek is a public education model that IBM helped found with the public education authorities in New York about 10 years ago. When I say public education model, what I mean by that is that it's almost like an open source model, so it's available for any school district to adopt. So it has a set of principles, and any school district can adopt it. What it essentially is that Ptek schools put ninth graders on an integrated pathway that allows them to attain a tuition-free STEM college degree and their high school diploma in 6 years or less. So it's a 9 to 14 model instead of a 9 to 12 model. What is unique about Ptek is that during that time, businesses who are partners to Ptek, so Ptek is a partnership between a college, a high school and business. Businesses provide mentors for all of the students, and businesses also provide a paid internship of 6 to 8 weeks for students who qualify. And then we, as a business, are ready to hire those students when they graduate.
Yeah, that's very, very good. The students being exposed to the professional workplace. Even though IBM helped co-create this unique model back in, 2010, the need is as pressing today as it was back then. And apparently in that year, according to the Bureau of Labor Statistics, the U.S. experienced an unemployment rate of about 10%. Following the 2008 banking crisis. Now, despite this, many STEM jobs in all industries and all company sizes were going unfilled, all because there simply weren't enough skilled workers to fill them. And today, Joel, as we combat the pandemic and its economic fallout, unemployment is back to about 10%, just like 10 years ago, and many STEM-related jobs still remain unfilled. I mean, there really is still a global skills gap and inequality everywhere, isn't there?
There is, and that skills, we see the statistics that you just mentioned there are really interesting, Mark, because if we look at STEM jobs, we could see 10 years ago that from two vantage points. One, as an employer, a very large employer around the world, we could see that there were these types of jobs that were growing and we were having difficulty filling those jobs. And then second, we provide most of our services as a company. What we do is to help other companies grow. We help them solve problems. We help them transform digitally. We help them to access new markets. And we could also see that as they were going through this journey, they needed tech skills, which were also in short supply. So when we are in COVID and when we have financial shocks or all types of shocks, these jobs just keep staying there and needing more people, and these skills are still not in abundant supply. So this is really what Ptek is out there to solve, to make sure that we're reaching in our communities and building the skills that are required for people to really take part in this economic growth that is being driven by automation and AI and data.
Well, it seems to be a sustainable model. I mean, it uses existing public school budgets, right? Not private financial donations. And it's an inclusive model because student entrance exams, they're not required. So, for example, 90% of students in IBM-associated schools are African American or Hispanic, and females are represented at a much higher percentage than your typical STEM programs. So many are the first in the family, aren't they, to attend college?
Yes, and this is really powerful, Mark, because if you think about a place like New York or anywhere else in the country that is growing, a lot of the growth in some of these areas, the industries that are really driving that are industries that use tech, and they're having to sometimes import skills from out of state or bring skills sometimes from out of the country. At the same time, we have large populations within the community that do not have access to good education and have access to these skills to be able to fill those jobs. And I think that's an unacceptable situation. If we want to have a really inclusive economic growth, we need to make sure that we're building the skills within the community to fill the jobs that are being created by the economy so that they also take part in the economy. And by the way, they have a lot to contribute talent-wise. So reaching in and making sure that we have girls represented, that we're tapping into removing access problems like tuition fees, so that students who go through Ptek, they end up without any student debt. This is tuition free, and really bringing businesses to give them the skills that they require so that they can enter the workforce, especially when they're first in their family to go to college. The mentorship that we provide to them is really important to help them navigate the tech world and to come in and make tech more representative. But critically is that when a community is growing, it needs to be inclusive. And the best way to do that is to make sure that the jobs that are being created in that economy go to the people who are in that community.
Well, there's no doubt, my friend, it's working. The on-time college completion rate for the Ptek students, it tends to be 4 times faster than peers. That's pretty darn good. Well, there's no doubt about it that IBM is proud to do its part to create a more diverse and equal society. I mean, you've got to say that, right, Joel?
Yes, and this year we made a promise that we were going to provide 1,000 internships to Ptek students in all of the 150 plus Ptek schools that are around the country. So they have the 600 companies that are part of Ptek. So every school has their partner. But we also know that during these difficult times, during COVID, we all need to do more to make sure that students do get internships. So at IBM, we're providing 1,000 internships in 2021. We're providing 1,000 internships in 2021 to Ptek students, and we're going to go beyond the schools we're partnered with to provide this access to other students who are in other Ptek schools. That's a paid internship, 6 to 8 weeks. I think it's going to be significant for building skills in young people in all echelons of society.
Well, we've got a couple of minutes, and what I'd like to do for those that may have just joined or not really understand or heard of Ptek before, let's do a wrap up. What, in short answers, what is Ptek? How does it work?
Ptek is an integrated education model that allows young people to get their high school diploma and a tuition-free STEM associate degree. It's the way to go to college without paying tuition fees and to finish with the skills that you require to be able to take those fast-moving jobs that pay very well that don't require you to have a 4-year degree. 50% of all of the jobs that we're actually advertising in our company now do not require a 4-year degree. So going through Ptek, you finish with the associates, you have skills that you build through internships, and you can then use that to go to market on the job. So that's what Ptek really is.
Now, why are businesses participating in Ptek?
So as a business, the reason why we participate in Ptek, and we look at a lot of businesses across the country, there's about 600 that are participating in Ptek, from large companies like AT&T to CVS to JP Morgan Chase, Cisco, and then we have medium-sized companies like Global Foundries and Tinderbows. A lot of also medium-sized companies and small companies. They participate in Ptek for 2 great reasons. They know that they have to build talent that they don't have today and they can't find in the marketplace. They know that they have to develop that talent. So Ptek is helping them develop talent. They know that they can actually, by working inside their communities, they are helping to create inclusive economic growth because they can build talent within their community and hire within their community. So Ptek is good for business, it's good for the community, and it's good also for young people.
So, Joel, how can residents get involved with Ptek locally?
So if you're a business or your school district or a community college, we advise you to go to ptek.org and look at the model. If you don't know of it already, it's a mature model. It's been 10 years. The results are in. The impact is clear to see. That's why Ptek has grown to 24 countries in only 18 months. Countries realize that this is an innovation that they have to have in their education system. So go there and look at it and start to have a conversation with each other about how you partner together to create Ptek. And you can reach out to us at IBM to help. We have a lot of assets from other people who have done Ptek that we can help to bring to the table. If you are just an individual, we want you to realize that young people that you don't need a 4-year degree to access some of the best paying jobs and the high growth jobs in software development, in cybersecurity, in cloud. All companies are really going through and checking their inventory to make sure that they're removing college requirements, 4-year college requirements from their job requisitions. So having access to something like Ptek, having your community college degree and building experience along the way is a really good way for you to get to build a solid career.
Well, it sounds absolutely marvelous. You know, Joel, I mean, credit where it's due. You've grown the Ptek model from 7 countries to 24 countries. That's integrated Ptek into their education systems. And what it really represents is 100,000 students coming through the program. A lot of souls there that are going to have a future that just maybe might never have had otherwise. So, Joel, thanks for taking time out. The Executive Director of Ptek, IBM Corporate Social Responsibility, Joel Mangan. And he's the Executive Director, my special guest on the Mark Bishop Show today. Good luck with it, Joel.
Thank you very much, Mark.